back to Women's Bracketology, presented by Love.
Welcome back to the Women's Bracketology on ESPN2. And then up next, after this, it's going to be the Men's Bracketology.
Well, the tournament field is set. Let's take a look at the 2 seeds. UConn, first team on the 2-seed line. They haven't been a 1 seed since 2021. They are lethal, leading D1 this season in margin of victory and offensive efficiency. Next up, TCU earning their highest seed in the tournament in program history, and they're making their first appearance since 2010. They're led, of course, by Big 12 Player of the Year, Hailey Van Lith. Also on that 2 line, it's the Blue Devils. After defeating NC State by double digits in the ACC Tournament Championship, they're entering this tournament riding a 6-game win streak. And the last 2 seed is the aforementioned NC State Wolfpack, who made it to the Final Four last season for the first time since '98, but they lost to the eventual champions South Carolina in those semifinals just last year. I'm not going to remind anyone that I picked them to go into the Final Four because you guys are tired of hearing it.
We hear from you and Ari Chambers enough about
I know.
NC State.
Well, you know what? Listen, when we're wrong, which is all the time, when we're right, we gloat. You take a look at the 2 seeds here. Who do you think has a great path? Who do you think has a real puncher's chance of making that Final Four?
I think TCU.
Really?
Yeah, and I think so because of the diversity of their ability to score the basketball. They have Sedona Prince inside, who is a matchup nightmare because she doesn't stay inside. She can step out and she can shoot it. And ever since they've moved Donovan Hunter into the starting lineup, that's been an extra punch, power, and especially on the defensive end. And can we talk about Madison Connor? Madison Connor has made 118
Next,
this season.
it's going to Men's
So they've got a big
Bracketology
three to
on
work with, 'cause I haven't
ESPN2
talked
at 10
about
o'clock
Hailey
p.m.
Van Lith.
Right, exactly. The Big 12 Player of the Year. And by the way, a reminder for the folks at home, we did one of those win one for the Gipper stories about TCU last year because they had to hold open auditions for students just to fill a roster. And now here they are, a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Holly Rowe is standing by with Hailey Van Lith and Mark Campbell.
Did somebody say TCU? I've got your back,
Yup,
Carolyn
so
Beck,
again,
because here
we
they are.
have
Coach Campbell, Hailey
Burn
Van
Interactive
Lith,
Show will be on
Player of
ESPN2
the Year.
on the
And Coach
Final
Campbell, I'm gonna
Four,
start with you.
and then the
You are
National
just 2
Championship
years
will be
removed
on
from having
ESPN
open
at 3
tryouts for the
p.m.
student body to try to fill the roster. Now you're the Big 12 champions, a top, number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. How have you turned it around so quickly at TCU?
Holly, first of all, it's just great to see you. And it looks like you got a little TCU vibe going on today.
Yeah.
We've just been able to attract some just incredible high-achieving young women. And I think TCU as a university and allows us to do that. And a lot of it had to do with previous relationships, and which ultimately that is recruiting. And a lot of these players that came here, we crossed paths on the recruiting trail, or they were former players. And Hailey's someone, I've known since she was about 15 years old, and got to know her and her family. And so Hailey took a huge leap of faith to come here for her last season. And what she's been able to do and accomplish for our school and program is just incredible.
It really is. I wanted to remind people, Hailey Van Lith in the Final Four with Louisville, in the Elite Eight with LSU, and now pacing TCU as conference champions. Hailey, I saw a quote you had on your Instagram post that said, "This one was purposeful." What is the purpose that is driving you right now to be the player you are, Big 12 Player of the Year?
Yeah, I think that I've just been super blessed in this situation in this year to blossom as an authentic version of myself and really just play free and play with passion and emotion and hype up my teammates and flex on people again. So I think it's just been a great year for me to be authentic, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I wanted to give you some love for that because you're shooting your most efficient you've ever shot, career high in assists. You've taken a step As a ball player, efficiency and helping others stay involved, what allowed you to take that step?
I think the number one thing is, self-belief. If you don't think that you can do it yourself, it will never happen. But then also hand in hand with that, I'm surrounded by players and a coaching staff that give me the most supporting and helpful environment possible, where they always are trying to help me get better and just looking out for the best for me. And I couldn't be more grateful to have the supporting cast and the coaching staff that I have.
Okay, don't get mad at me for this next question, but if I look at the bracket, if you guys take care of business at home, there's a potential matchup with your former team, Louisville. Will that be fun, spicy, loving? What will it be?
I think that I am excited to play a first round game at home. And, after that, the one thing about me is I'm going to play, it could be a 16 seed, it could be a 1 seed, and I'm going to bring the same energy and the same passion and be the same type of player. So no matter who it is on the other side, you're going to get the same Haley.
I love that. Coach Campbell, thank you so much. Congratulations on all you've done. I know you have great experience in the NCAA tournament with Oregon, making deep runs year after year, so can't wait to see what's next for the TCU Horned Frogs. Thank you both.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Holly.
That was a veteran answer there by Haley.
Yeah, sure was.
I'm excited for
Well
this first
done.
round matchup. I ain't looking ahead.
But it's also a fact because Haley Van Lith really does bring the intensity and energy
Sure.
no matter who is across. She is such a competitor and so much fun to watch, especially this season at TCU.
And in fairness, most of the players she'll be going up against, Louisville, if that does happen, weren't her teammates.
Yeah.
So she played with a couple of them, but otherwise it's a brand new team and it's a whole different environment. Same head coach, but different roster pretty much.
And just to kind of put a bow on TCU as well, this is a team that averages 9.5 threes per game. And when you make threes at the level they can make threes, you can upset almost any team in the tournament.
Should we talk about the most efficient offense, though, in D1? And that being a team that feels like a sleeper team, which feels inconceivable considering that it's UConn. But RL, for the first time in years, we've been able to describe them with one word: healthy. And that could be a problem in the tournament.
Yeah, they're healthy and they're certainly dangerous. And I think we saw what UConn can be when we saw them play in Columbia at South Carolina. UConn has won 10 games in a row. They look phenomenal. They're playing really well with one another. And I think the biggest thing to take out of the Big East tournament, not only was Sarah Strong an absolute monster, averaging a double-double, but any time in those Big East tournament games when a team made a run, Paige Beckers put it on herself, on her shoulders. She would go on her own 7-0 run or her own 5-0 run. And those are the kind of things Coach Auriemma has been prodding from her since she got to UConn. Take the game over. And we saw signs of that from Paige Beckers in the Big East tournament. And I have a feeling we're going to see signs of that in the NCAA tournament as well.
In a recent interview that I heard from Gino Auriemma, he talked about, though, he needs more consistency from his bigs. El Alfie and also Brady. If he can get consistency of his big, legitimate bigs not having Sarah Strong play inside, that can open up things and free the freshmen up to be able to play away from the basket, some pick and pop action when they know that they have size to anchor in the paint.
Which also could be big as far as the bigs for UConn when we think about a potential matchup with USC, with Kiki Iriafen, who USC has on the inside, so UConn's bigs. But when we think back to the game that UConn played against USC, it was a 2-point game. I know it was at UConn, but AZ Fudd only played 8 minutes, and AZ Fudd has been
first game back.
She has been completely transformed. She was the key to their win against South Carolina. So I think this is a completely different UConn team facing USC. And if I'm USC, I'm feeling some type of way about this matchup against UConn.
I'm a stat nerd. I just had to put a button on the usage for Paige.
Button L.
She has a plus minus of plus 757, which is the best in D1.
Paige Beckers is one made free throw away from being a 50-40-90 player while leading in all of women's college basketball in assist to turnover ratio. I don't know if she's one of the most efficient guards we've ever had in the game, but she's pretty darn close.
Man, is that good? Is that good numbers?
Pretty good.
Really good numbers. You know what else is good? We love a UConn, we love a legacy program, but we also love first timers. We love those teams that are finally making it in. And shout out to this incredible crew.
And again, the Birders Rising show will be on ESPN2 for the Final Four, and then also
and Mary, who
That's
are
gonna
both
happen,
in
like,
for the first
yeah.
time. Andrea, CP, one of these teams in particular has just a special story surrounding them.
Well, when you look at George Mason and what Vanessa Blair Lewis did when she was at Bethune-Cookman, she took them to the NCAA tournament, and now for the first time in program history, George Mason, only in 4 years, she gets him there. But in the A10 championship, she had told me before the game that her father had been put into hospice. After the game, I got an opportunity to interview Vanessa, and she said that she FaceTimed her dad before the game, and he told his baby girl to go win it, and she did exactly that. And she said that championship was for Robert Blair.
Yeah, it's really special. And, you know, CP, I also want to give you your flowers because you were a coach that inspired Dawn Staley. And when Dawn Staley went on to win a national championship, she sent a piece of the net to Destiny Rogers, who coaches at Arkansas State. And so when we talk about inspiration coming down the line, I just got to start with you because you have done so much for this game. So congratulations to Destiny Rogers and Arkansas State, but CP, we're so thankful for you.
You're the absolute best. I
Thank
know,
you.
the absolute best. The Hall of Famer, man. All right, maybe the biggest shock of the night, guys, where Notre Dame landed on the line. When we come back with our selection show, we'll take a look at those 3 seeds and really outlook Notre Dame's chances to ultimately do what we thought they would just 20 days ago. Stick around, much more after this.
We'll be right back.